Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It is Sunday. It is March 12th, and I am here to give you a stitching update from today. Well, I've been working on Kringles. I decided to go ahead and work on Kringles for my Whip Go goal because I just needed to stitch on it for 5 hours, and I did. So I'm pretty excited about that. I put in 644 stitches, which is between 5.5 hours, something like that. And this is what I did. I had done this part under the room to right here. And so tonight I went ahead and extended this all the way across to the end of the row. And that was 644 stitches. So it met my Whip Go goal. It hasn't met my goal as far as getting it finished in a year yet. I would need to do the middle room this month at some point, the inside of the middle room. I also, as part of that 644 stitches, I did the brick and mortar on the outside here. So the next time I pick this up, I will do that ecru box to define the second room and hopefully get the second room finished. And then the next time I will do brick and mortar for this wall and the third room probably in the next month. And at some point in there, working on those, I will try to finish the bottom portion of this banner. And then I've got to fill in the light color, which is the ecru color, right in there. But I'm making progress with it, and this is only the 12th of the month, and so I have time, probably in another week or two when my eyes have healed and I can see well, I can get this inside room done right here. Looking forward to that. So I was hoping tonight to get those 5 hours in easily, so I picked that banner to do because it's a repetitive pattern and I could just flow with it, so that worked out really well. I will tell you, my husband and I wound up sleeping in this morning. I guess we traveled home on Friday in the rain, a long trip, and then on Saturday we hit the ground running, and we had activities all day and we never got to rest. And so we had set our clocks. We were ready. I had our choir books ready with our music in it for church this morning. And the alarm went off this morning, and I reached over and turned it off, thinking I would get up in a moment. When my husband got up, his alarm went off, and he reached over and hit it. And he normally does. He normally snoozes. So I was just waiting for his snooze to finish, and then I would get up, and I went right back to sleep. And so did he. He didn't snooze. He turned it off. He was exhausted, and so he went back to sleep, and so did I. And I will tell you, I didn't wake up until 11 o'clock this morning. Now, granted, that would normally be 10 because of the time change here, but that's still really late. So that just shows you we were very tired. We had not had any rest since our trip on Friday, and I think it was just we were just wore out. So we slept in this morning. Anyway, I didn't get to start stitching until this afternoon after we had lunch together, but I have edited a video of the vacation and all the stitching that I did, and I have got it ready. It is saving, and I'm hoping that I can upload it either tomorrow or Tuesday before I have surgery on Wednesday, so that you'll have something from me, and I don't know how long it'll be before I'm ready to film again after surgery, so we'll see. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you about my stitching today and what that means. It was, as I mentioned, it was a whip go goal. It turns out that I did one whip go goal on vacation, which was my sewing bee. I did a second whip go goal today, which was Kringles, worked 5 hours on it. They're on 2 different boards, so I've done one of each of my whip go boards goals. So that's great. I've got one left on each board. So on the Christmas or the Halloween and on my holiday board, it's to work on my Christmas village ornament. And I very well may do that tomorrow if I'm in the mood to do full coverage tomorrow, because I have a feeling it would be harder to see that while my eyes are recovering than some other things I could work on maybe. So I think I may go ahead and try to knock that out tomorrow. And if I do, that will knock out that board as far as this month's, called numbers. So that'll be great. Anyway, it's very late. I'm gonna go to bed and start again tomorrow. I hope you have had a great weekend. I wish you well for the coming week, and I wish you happy stitching. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back. It's March 13th. It's Monday, and I'm here to tell you about my stitching for today. I did what I thought I might do when I was talking with you last night. I did pull out my full coverage Christmas ornaments. These are the gold collection from Dimensions, the Christmas Village ornaments. This was a gift from my son 3 years ago, somewhere in there, and I waited a while to get started, and then I stitched one of them, and now I am working on the second one. This is the first one that I did with the Santa Claus on the roof, and now I am doing this one because it has a husband, a wife, a little boy, and a little puppy. I'm not sure you can see that in front of the house, and I think that's precious. So today I put all this out, and mainly because it's on my whip go board. It was number 22 on my holiday whip go board. And I just finished working on Kringles, which was number 2 on my whip go board that was holiday. So today, stitching on this one, I finished my whip go goal, 5 hours. So I want to show you what I got accomplished in that time. So here's where I am. I'm really, really tickled with the progress. I finished this greenery last time was what I had finished down the side here. So I came in today and I finished the chimney, the rooftop. I put in the whole light pole, came over here and came down here and finished the rooftop. Started working on the tree over here in the corner. So worked all up in here and got all of that kind of done. And now looking at the pattern that I have, because I have a working copy of it and I've marked off everything I've done, I am just about dead on halfway done. So there you go. If I were in Pattern Keeper, it would be 50%. But this isn't in Pattern Keeper. I'm actually doing it old school with the color working copy and colored pencils to see where I'm at. But I think it's adorable. Really, really like it. So pretty. And I love the fact that these sky colors are mirrored in the rooftop. You may not be able to see them, but there's a row of the yellow sky, there's a row of the pink, and true to Dimensions, this is one of those where you have either a cross stitch or a half stitch But you also can have a half stitch with one thread or a half stitch with two strands. You can have blends. There's actually some in here that have call for 4 strands as well. I think that's the highest, but I'll show you what I'm talking about. If you've ever done a dimensions kit, you know what I'm speaking about. You'll have an emblem, you'll have a color name here, and you'll have these little emblems in these columns, and the column tells you, you know, what it is. Is it a full cross? If it's a full cross in that color, it'll have that emblem. If it's a half stitch, it'll have it over here under half stitch. And then in the parentheses, it has the number of threads you're to use. So once you know that about the key, it's very easy to follow. But let me tell you, I was teaching a little girl how to stitch last month at our stitching meetup, and she had a dimensions kit that had this kind of a key. And I felt so bad having to explain that to her right out of the gate, you know, a first-time stitcher. I did it a little bit, and I said, let's don't worry about it too much. We'll kind of go through it as we change colors, because I felt like it would overwhelm her, you know, to tell her everything. But anyway, that is exciting, because today, with my 5 hours of stitching, I have completed my Whip Go goal, and that means it's the second one on that board. So I'm coloring it in so I can show it to you. There we go. So this Whip Go is complete of what's called these two. It had Kringles up here too, and then it had 22. And isn't that wonderful? It had them in, for me, in the same column. That's awesome. Now next month, call these two and we'll be good. I'll have a bingo. I have completed one of my other Whip Go, which was Sewing Bee, and I took it with me on vacation and wound up adapting it and making it into a gift for someone. But I stitched enough on it to meet my goal. And then now I have at the bottom a new start, Love Abides. And I think I'm going to try to start it maybe later in the week if I can see after surgery. I think that would be a fun thing to do. So that's my Whip Go update. In addition to completing that square in Whip Go, because I stitched over 500 stitches to do that, I am also going to be able to use this vintage ornament for a prompt. And it is in my magazine monthly challenge. I'm using it for the Y in Etsy. And what I connected that to was the young family in there. I said it had a young family in my vintage ornament. And so now I'm going to go post that on that acrostic in the Facebook group. And I will have that completed. So I'm sorry to have to be so bundled up today, but it turned out to be about 53 degrees here. And for some of you, that would be like a heat wave, but for us, it's a little nippy. So I have on my sweaters today, but I'm tickled to death. I'm really, really tickled. I love how it's turning out. These are quite striking, I think. The color combinations are quite striking. And I'm really tickled that I was able to get this light pole in. I decided I better get that in before I got off anywhere stitching and messed it up, you know, since it had to go down through all these different colors. But anyway, that's where I am on that one. So that's my stitching update for today. I hope you've gotten your week off to a good start, and mine has been pretty good. My husband went for blood work, you know, regular tests and things today that he's having done. And basically, I just got started with the surgical drops that I have to put in my eyes for the next 2 days. And then Wednesday morning, I'll have my first cataract removed. When I put those surgical drops in this morning, it got real. I've been having to put drops in my eyes morning and night up until today anyway, but they were over the counter kind of moisturizing drops that the doctor asked me to use up until today because I had really dry eyes. And so I did, but you know, I've had dry eyes for many years and I've had to use drops. So that wasn't anything new. But these are surgical drops and I have to do them 4 times a day, today and tomorrow, and then don't use them on Wednesday. So then it got real. My husband asked me last night at dinner if I was, what was my anxiety level at this point. And I said, well, you know, I don't like needles. I really don't like IVs because, you know, hopefully they have to be a really good sticker and some aren't. And they go digging and looking for your veins. So I always dread that part. Once I get that part behind me, it's like for me, my nerves are okay. But up until that point, if they take my blood pressure, it'll be high. It will be elevated, I can assure you. But we'll get through that. So things are coming up pretty quick. I'm excited about it. I have been able to edit and pull together a video for you from the beach. It starts the day before we left and it ends the day after we got home. And so it's the whole little trip. It didn't take 3 videos to capture it. But I did put a lot of pictures in there of Coco around town and beach photos, little clips of her at the beach. She went to the beach every day, so I don't even know if these are all the same day or not. But they're every one that my husband had taken of her in the course of a week. So I hope you enjoy them. I hope, and I do have it scheduled to go live this week. I am going to wait just a few days because I just put up the one that was a week behind, and I don't want to do one and then boom, boom, here's another one. Because, you know, if you're trying to watch them in order, you might get them out of order. You might watch the one that pops up, you know, new and not realize there's another one behind it, and you might be confused as to why I'm talking about finishes or, you know, things like that when you hadn't seen them yet. So there you go. Okay, so a whip go goal attainment with another prompt met at the same time is that's a pretty good accomplishment today. And now I have a really busy day tomorrow. We start a new Bible study at my ladies group that I'm a member of at church, and that's in the morning. I get to talk to my sister in the morning. And so I won't even come near my cross-stitch room until, you know, much after lunch. And so I'm hoping to be able to at least meet a small prompt or something tomorrow. And then we'll see. We'll see what I can do the rest of the week after I have my procedure done. Thanks for all of your well wishes. Thanks for the prayers. Thanks for the warm thoughts and positive energy that you're sending my way. I appreciate it very, very much. And I appreciate all the comments. You guys are so kind. I've been answering comments since I got back from the beach. And I just was thrilled at, you know, just how kind you are and thoughtful you are. I just want to thank you for that. I have some of the neatest friends that I've made through this channel. It's been wonderful. So thank you for that. Thank you for watching, subscribing, you know, so that you get to see when it comes up. And just thanks for supporting, you know, what I have to share with you. It's just what I stitch every day. It's as if we're neighbors and, you know, you're coming over to stitch, or I'm sharing with you what I've done today as we talk and visit. So I'm just delighted to be able to do that with you. So thank you for watching. I'm going to let you get back to your stitching. I hope you're stitching. And I know one person that I talk to frequently said she kind of watches my videos in parts. She watches them when she's getting ready for work. And so she might, you know, have, 10 or 15 minutes at a time, you know. So So then she stops it and catches it another day. So that's kind of fun. That way I get to visit with her more often. But thank you for that. Happy stitching, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome, everybody. This is Dina. I am back to tell you about my stitching today. It is Tuesday. It is the 14th of March. It is the day before surgery. Anyway, I can't wait to get that behind me. At least the first one, so I know more of, what to expect. Anyway, I had a Zoom call last night. Was able to talk to about 3 of my stitching friends, and I had to come up with something to stitch that was easy enough to do, while you're talking with someone. I started out the night bobbinating all of the thread I've purchased in the last, I don't know, several months. One here, one there, just to replace anything I pull out of my master set when I'm kitting something up. If I don't have it in my working set, then I'll have to go to my master set and get it, and I immediately put it on my shopping list so that I have at least one set of threads. So I had to bobbinate all that and put it away. So I started the evening with that, pardon me, and then I moved on into stitching, and I pulled out my I Am a Needlesmith because there are some big blocks of color, easy enough to do in here. So I decided, last time I stitched on this, I did the outer portion of her dress. And then this time I decided, since that kind of outlined where she went, I would come over here and finish this flower, because I had done the top half, but I hadn't done the bottom half. And then, as I mentioned, I'm going to stitch the things around her, and then I'll fill in the middle, since those are just blocks of color. And that way, if I'm off in any, place, I won't have this messed up. So that's what I did. I came down here and I did the flower. So I've got the flower finished. I had to fit it in where her dress, it goes in front of her dress, and then it goes up and had to meet up with the one above it. And then today, to finish my thread I had hanging, I had started working on the blue, this little piece of river that runs through, and I thought, well, that'll be a pretty one to do. And then I realized that it met up and intersected with the flowers on the branch, and I had just done the branch all the way up. So today I did all the flowers, and then I went ahead and outlined where this will be, so that hopefully when I can see again, I can fill that in, and that'll be a good test for my stitching to see, how well that's working for me. But then I think once I fill that in, I want to come down here and stitch all the things that are around her on the ground so that I can get them placed properly, and then I'll do these just splotches of color that run across there. I'll do that in the end. So let me show you. This is the By the Bay. I Am a Needlesmith. I'll double it so you can see it without seeing through it. And I think it's just lovely. It gets to full coverage almost in this middle section. And then it gets, down here has open space like up here, as I mentioned before. But I will tell you, this is an easy stitch. It is a pleasant stitch. It goes very quickly. You have nice big blocks of color, and then you have a little tiny bit of confetti, like there's a little bit in her face and hair. There's just a little bit in the basket that's going to be. Sorry about that. I had an alarm set on my phone for dinner that I'm baking in the oven, and when it went off, it cut me off. So I was just wrapping up saying that there's a little bit of confetti in here. There's going to be a basket over on this side that looks like a basket weave stitch that might be a little bit of confetti, but not much. This is more big blocks of color. I highly recommend it if you want to try By the Bay. See if you like it. This is a good one to try. This is the bottom of the piece. It just goes to there. So I am well over halfway there now. I think that's wonderful. So there you go. I'm going to put it away for now. This met 3 prompts. It is in all 3 of my acrostics. It stands for I in all 3 of them, for I am a needlesmith. And so I did stitch 422 stitches today. I needed to stitch 300 as a minimum to hit my daily 30 St. Patrick's acrostic. But I just stitched until I was ready to stop, and adding my stitches from last night and today, it's 422. So thanks for letting me share that with you. I'm gonna go finish supper, and hopefully if I get to stitch any more tonight, I'll have something else to share with you, and if not, I'll see you as soon as I can. Surgery's in the morning. So good night, everybody. Happy stitching. Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Dina. It is the 16th of March. It is a day post-surgery for me, and I am thrilled with the results so far, so I'll tell you about that really quickly. Surgery went great. I was so pleased with the staff. They were very communicative, made sure I knew everything that was going on, made me feel very comfortable. Surgery went great. My husband and I got there at 7:30, and we were walking out the door, everything finished, headed to breakfast at 9:30. It was great. They did the right eye, and it was blurred yesterday because they dilated my eye, and I was a little worried about it because it still wasn't clear last night at all. But this morning when I woke up, I heard the telephone dinging with a arrival of a text, and without thinking, I reached over and put the phone up, and I could read it. I didn't have on glasses, I didn't have on contacts or anything, and I could read my text. Oh, I was so excited. So then I got up and got my shower and got dressed. I can't wear eye makeup, so I may look a little different to you simply because I can't put anything on my eyes yet. For a while yet. And then came up here and had a time to talk and stitch with my friend Glow. And I had told her the day before, I'm feeling fine, but I don't know if I'll be able to see the stitch yet because my eyes were still real blurred yesterday. But this morning I was sitting here talking to her, and I looked down at my stitching and I could see it. I could see the fabric. I could see the holes. I could see the pattern. And I didn't have on contacts, and I didn't have on any readers. I was over the moon, just over the moon. So can't wait now to do this eye. Got to wait 2 weeks to get it done. But today I've been taking it easy. I'm trying not to strain anything. You know, I don't want to strain my new eye, so or my new lens. So I stitched about 100 stitches on Miss Christmas Eve that Glow and I are stitching together. Not enough to even show you, just a little bit of green in the skirt. And then this afternoon, I decided I would work on something a little bit even bigger, 28 count, so that it would be really easy for me to see and I wouldn't be straining my eyes at all. And I pulled out my By the Bay, and I actually put in 394 stitches. I was working on a prompt that I didn't have anything to meet, so I just did the lowest number of stitches, which was 200, but you have to do an extra 100 when you have alternate stitching. So I did 394. I almost made it to 400, and I could have had the highest number of stitches, you know, plus 100, but I didn't want to push it. I was getting a little tired, and so I stopped. So I can show you that one, because I still have it on my Q-snap. And basically what I did is I stitched 2 shades of green right here and finished the whole land. So now when I pick it back up, this is all lake water, and then this will be the ship right here. And this panel, first of the 3, would be finished. So that's what I got done today. I'm gonna take it out of the Q-snap and put it away. Now I'm about to cook supper. But I could not be happier. So thank you all who sent me warm wishes, prayers, positive thoughts. I appreciate it very, very much. So I'm going to let you go. I just wanted to give you a report that everything's going great. And I cannot wait to get to do my other eye. But I'm happy. I am very happy. Today I was actually able to see 32 count fabric without anything. And I haven't been able to do that ever. So that was awesome. Well, I'll let you get back to your stitching. Maybe you're cooking dinner too, I don't know. But I'm going to run down and do that now. Coco and my hubby are on a little walk. And I told them I would start cooking the minute they get back because it's a quick cook. Won't take me long. And we'll have dinner. And then I hope that my husband and I can watch Survivor tonight. If he has time, we'll get to see another episode of that. And then if it's not too late, I may come up and do a little bit of kitting up or, just messing around in the craft room. So I'll let you know what I get done. But happy stitching, everybody. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. This is Dina, and I am here to tell you about my stitching this 17th day of March. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Today, I decided to work on a prompt that is in my Daily 30 Challenge group. It was to stitch on something that I only have one by this designer, and right now this trio that I'm stitching together is the only Mill Hill kit that I have in my stash. And this one is the first of the trio. It's called Haunted Mansion. I started it a while back and hadn't worked on it since I started it, really. But I put it in for a prompt for this challenge because I wanted to work on it. And I was originally working on it with a Q-snap because I didn't have a roller frame quite long enough available. Then I had a little brainstorm today, and I decided to just turn over the end of my fabric just slightly and see if the roller frame would hold it that way so I could go ahead and put it on a roller frame. And the reason I wanted to do that is that if I could fit it on a roller frame where all of it would fit and I didn't have to roll it up onto my stitching, I could stitch and bead, which is much better than trying to stitch 3 different patterns and then go back and bead 3 different patterns. And I'm happy to report that it worked. So I got my 26-inch roller frame that was the only one I had that was open, that didn't have something on it. And I just folded over my fabric a little bit on the end. I won't need that anyway for this piece. And so it even wrinkled just slightly rolling it up, but I'll take it off and adjust that. I wanted to try it out today and just see if it would work. And I am happy to tell you I stitched 202 stitches on this and it went just great. So here's where I'm at, just a little bit more across that top. I finished the moon, did that. I came over here and did more in the roof, and I did a lot of those little columns going down there to get that much done. Everything up here that is not stitched is beads. So as I'm going, I'm getting all the stitching done as I move down. The next time that I work on this, I am seriously thinking I will take my tacky bob, it was a bob when I bought it, and put the beads for this particular pattern in the tacky bob so that I can bead as I go, and I'll just store that tacky bob in here with this project with the beads in it. And that way I can do it each time. But that's how it's looking. I think it's looking really nice. It's working out really well. It's gonna look dark and shadowy and I don't know that the background that's coming through on the pattern that wasn't stitched has a blue background on it, and this one does not. So it may not pop quite as much, but I like it. I think it looks really, really cute. So the prompt that I was stitching for required either 200 or 300 stitches, whichever one you wanted to go for. I opted to do the 200 today because I think I overdid it a little bit stitching yesterday, and my eye was really tired and sore today. So I decided I would limit myself to one prompt, 200 stitches. That's all I did today. But as it turns out, I can also use this probably in another acrostic. I'm going to go look and see. I'll take a picture and post it. But I will say I am doing great. I've had a little bit of an unusual thing happen today. I see flashes of light in the eye that has the new lens in it. It's almost like a little strobe light, or maybe I'm feeling electrical impulses, like my pulse or something. I'm not sure what it is. My husband Googled it, and it says it does happen, and it usually goes away within 2 to 3 days. But I see my doctor on Monday, and I hope it's gone by then, because if it's not, I'm going to ask her to check it out. And, you know, I hope I don't have that forever. It would be livable. I'll trade that so that I can see as well as I'm seeing. This is a 32 count Joblin, and it is hand dyed. So, you know, it has shrunk, and you can tell it's shrunk. But I will tell you, it is tiny, and I can see it without readers. Isn't that awesome? I'm so excited, y'all. I'm just so excited. Anyway, I'll put this away for the night. I've promised my husband I'm going to beat him in cards. And then we're going to maybe watch a movie together. I'm going to take the rest of the night off from stitching because I just need to pace myself, I think, a little bit with this eye and not overdo it. So, doing great. Loving it. It's beautifully clear. I drove today. My husband had to take his truck in for service, and I followed him there and picked him up. And he drove us the rest of the day until I had to go back with him to get his truck. And then I drove myself home. And it was rainy and gray, and people had their car lights on, and I didn't have any trouble. None whatsoever. And I was told by my doctor the worst part about it would be the headlights coming at me. And maybe because it wasn't nighttime, it was just a rainy, gray day, I didn't have any trouble at all. So I'm blessed, y'all. Very blessed. I'll let you get back to what you were doing. I'm going to go and play cards with my husband, and I will check in with you hopefully tomorrow. Tommy's going for a long run. I'm hoping to get a couple of prompts done tomorrow, maybe one in the morning and one in the evening, take a little break in between. Y'all, I feel so good. I want to stitch all day long, but I don't want to hurt myself by doing that. So just know that I'm doing great. Happy stitching, everybody. Good morning, everybody. This is Tina. Today is the 18th of March. It's a Saturday. My husband's off on a long run, and Coco and I are hanging out here, just us girls. And I decided this morning to try to maybe stitch a prompt, see how it went. And so I decided I would work on my Halloween Quaker by Lila's Studio, and I needed to finish this motif. I had the witch and I had the broom handle. I didn't have the bottom of the broom, and I didn't have the moon silhouetted there, and I wanted to finish that. But my answer to meet my challenge was for the letter O, and I said I needed to stitch one motif. So when I looked here, there's this little tiny orange swirl in here that's a single motif, and I thought, okay, I know I can stitch that, but that's just not enough. So I went ahead and finished the little witch first, did the moon and the broom, and then I dropped down over here and did the little swirl underneath. So I did stitch a full motif, but I also finished one too. And I think that's most important, because it would have sort of been cheating to do just that little bitty one, I do think. And by doing all of that, I got 497 stitches in. So I'm really happy about that, because it wouldn't have been that much if I had just done the orange swirl, because that was only 35 stitches. I finished off the witch with the moon and the broom. And when I finished her, I had stitched 199 stitches. And y'all know I really like to stitch about 200 when I'm meeting a prompt. I guess that's my standard, what I'd like to do to say I've qualified for it. I don't know. That's just in my own head. So I thought, I am one stitch short. I'm glad I'm going to do that little orange swirl. And it turned out to be 35 stitches. So anyway, and that, if you're doing the math, is 234 stitches. But I had stitched 263 last night on this white moon and broom. I just finished it this morning, but I went ahead and got started on it last night. So all total, 497 stitches on my Halloween Quaker, and I think it's coming along beautifully, and I'm still loving it on this fabric. It's such a slight, modeling. I really like it. It gives it a smooth look. So I used that for my monthly magazine challenge for S in Etsy for Lila's studio, for the S in studio, and I used it in 24 hours of cross stitch for the O for one more motif. But because I stitched 497 stitches, that's over 300, I looked at St. Patrick's, which is the acrostic in the Daily 30 group, and I used it for the S in that as well. I had a second S that I needed to stitch, and so I used Studio in the designer's name to meet that one too. So this has knocked out 3 prompts today. Yay! I really enjoyed that. That was good. So now I'm going to do just a quick recap with you. That means I have 1 letter left to complete both of the acrostics in my monthly magazine challenge. I just finished Etsy with doing the S for this Lila's studio, and then I have left just the C in Charge It, and I'm going to do casting a spell for that. And that works out really well because there's a C I need to stitch in my St. Patrick's, but I have a coupon from my stitching that I earned last month in the Daily 30 group, and that lets me stitch 100 stitches and get to count it for 300. I put my coupon in and then I do 100 stitches. So I'm going to do that on casting a spell because, casting a spell, I'm doing those little tiny squares. And if I do another little tiny square, I don't know how many stitches that will be, but it won't be a whole lot. And so I'm loving it that I only have to do 100 stitches for St. Patrick's. So that's probably what I'll do, 100 stitches and let that be it, because I would like to complete my acrostics as soon as possible since I'm going in for another surgery, but on the other eye. The only thing left is in anything after that is a P in 24 hours of cross stitch, that P in impromptu. I've got that first P I haven't done yet. And then there's a P that will be left in St. Patrick's. So I can use the same project for it, of course. And it looks like it's going to be pandemic. I haven't looked to see if I have anything else that has a P in it for either the name of the design or the designer's name or anything in the design. So I'll have to decide what I want to do with that. But I have to do 300 stitches on it anyway. So I'm trying to push that pandemic to a page finish. So that may be what I just go ahead and do because I think it would help push that forward. So there you go. I've met 3 prompts today with 1 project, which is awesome. And now I'm going to grab lunch with Coco, and then I will be back hopefully this afternoon. Would love to maybe get that short prompt done, the one I only have to do 100 stitches on. Wouldn't that be nice? And then we have a new challenge that came out yesterday. I have checked it out. I'm going to participate in it. It's in the Daily 30 group. So I have 5 prompts I'm going to try to hit for that. I still have 2 prompts to hit in the Women's Day Challenge that's in the Daily 30 group. And one of those is to stitch on a project that wasn't your favorite whip, but you've grown to love it. And then the other one is to stitch on your biggest whip. So if I pull out Pandemic for my acrostic and for my S in St. Patrick's, you know, the last time when I did my demonstration on how I stitch on it, and I said I like to use all of the floss that I cut on that one cut before I put it away, and that came out to be around 600 stitches. So I might have enough, if I do that, to hit the St. Patrick's 300 and then start counting over. Go ahead and post it. And then I would have enough to stitch 200 or 300 for that prompt in that group for my biggest whip. And that would be great, because then I would get to stitch for 2 prompts, but I would, you know, I'd make the progress on my project that I want to. So that's kind of my plans, really. That's what I'm going to try to do between now and my next surgery. And then I will have a week, next week, to work on the new challenge that's been posted in the Daily 30 group. So that's been good. It's been fun. I really am glad I got to touch this one again. Hadn't worked on Halloween Quaker in quite some time, and I had missed it. And so I'm glad I got to pull it out. And now I'm going to pull out Casting a Spell and see if I can put some stitches in it after lunch. So I'll talk to you soon. I hope to have some more stitching to share with you maybe later today. But whether I do or not, I hope you have a great day of stitching. Happy stitching, everybody. Hi, everybody. Back again. It is still the 18th of March, and I am here later on Saturday to let you see what I was able to get done this afternoon after lunch. Coco kept me company while I had lunch today, and now she has been asking me where her daddy is. He's helping a friend with a plumbing problem at his house. He stopped by there on his way back from his run, and he just let me know a few minutes ago that he's not far from being here. And I told him that Coco asked me to call him and ask him where he was, because she's ready to go. She wants to go to the park. Anyway, he got a real kick out of that. So this afternoon, it's been quiet. Coco's been very self-sufficient. She's been napping and watching the window for her daddy, and I have been working on another prompt or two. So I am ecstatic to let you know that I was able to work on Casting a Spell, and I originally had done one of these squares. They're just opposite of each other. I don't know which one is which in here, but I did one of those. And so today, rather than stitch the same thing again, I decided to stitch on the little bird with the pumpkin. And that's what I worked on. Now, I only had to get 100 stitches in this because of my coupon. So I did that, actually got about 200 stitches, and I posted it in both my Daily 30 for my acrostic St. Patrick's, and then I posted it in my magazine monthly challenge for C, for Charge It, and that is the actual final one for that, and that completed my monthly magazine acrostic. So that one's done. I have one letter left in the 24 hours of cross stitch, and I have one letter left in St. Patrick's, and it happens to be the same letter, P. And so, you know, that'll be for Pandemic, most likely. So, would you like to see what I've done? If you recall, I'm doing these little pieces, these little parts of this on a remnant of a fabric that is called Peanut, and it is a Be Stitch Me fabric. Oh, that light's going to wash it out. Let me get back here. There you go. That's the color. But anyway, so here's my little bird and the pumpkin and the little Quaker star that's there. I just rolled that one up and did that one. And now I'll roll up again when I start the next one, and I'll do probably the other one of these. There are 4 little squares that go in the middle. One is another one of those 3 stars, and then the letter B for Blackbird. Only I'm going to look and see if they have an alphabet in here, because they do. So I will be swapping out that B. I'll be swapping it out for either a D for Dina or an H for my last name. Probably might do H, because then that could stand for either my last name or Halloween, which I think is a great way to do that. So there you go. That one's done. In total, I went ahead and finished it off because it was so close to being finished. When you did the bird, you felt like you had the majority of it done, and then I did that little star, and all I had left was this little pumpkin, and I thought, I'm not putting that away with only a little pumpkin to stitch. So I got it done. That was 381 stitches for the whole thing, which is great. And now I will put it away in my project bag, and I've got a beautiful spring project bag. It's certainly not one for Halloween, is it? But it was one that I had available, and it was large enough that I felt like my little frame here would fit in it, and it does. So that makes it very nice. So that's my stitching for today. I don't know that I'll get any more done. I'm hoping to get to watch a movie with my hubby. We played cards last night. He beat me. That's the first time he's beat me in several games that we're playing, but he only beat me by 17 points. So that's not bad. But I had to let him win or he'd get too discouraged and wouldn't. No, I'm kidding. He won fair and square. Okay, I'll let you go. I'm going to go down and check on the dinner that's in the crock pot for tonight. We're having a big old pot roast with carrots and potatoes, and I need to go check on it. It's smelling really good. And I will probably sit with Coco and watch for her dad to come. I've run my iPad battery completely out. My plug for it to charge it slipped down behind my desk this morning, and I'm not allowed to bend over yet for my eyes, and so I can't plug it back in. So it died on me a few minutes ago, so I guess that means it's time to do something else. I do hope you're getting a great weekend of stitching, and I hope that you're enjoying everything you're working on. Happy stitching, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. It is the 20th of March. It's Monday morning. I'm getting ready to leave the house for just a little while. This morning, I get to go see my eye surgeon and let her check out how I'm doing. And I'm looking forward to that this morning. That should be a very positive visit, I hope. But I have been working. I started stitching on Pandemic last night, and I got over 300 stitches. I got 323, I believe. Yes. And that was enough for the last letter in the acrostic I was working on for St. Patrick's in the Daily 30 group. And so I finished that, and I posted that last night. And then I decided I had another prompt to work on in that same group in the Women's Day challenge, and it was to work on your largest whip, and that's Pandemic for me. And so I needed to get another 300 stitches for that, or at least 200, and I like to finish out my thread anyway, so I thought I'll just go till I run out of my thread as long as I get over 200 stitches. And I had one letter left in my 24 hours of cross stitch acrostic, and it's a P. So Pandemic was going to work for both of them. So I got that done, and I stitched 338 stitches between last night and this morning working on that second prompt. All total, I've put in 661 stitches on Pandemic in the last 2 days. So for my 24 hours of cross stitch, I'll probably use the whole 661 and show the first beginning picture and my last picture. but I had to break it up for the daily 30 group because you can't double dip. For my second acrostic, I did 338 stitches. Let me show you where that got me. Yay! Look at that. I think it's gorgeous. Well, let me tell you something. I got a page break. It's right in here. That's where the page break is. So I've got my 4th page on the pandemic, and this is the page 5 that's left here to finish that row. My goal for pandemic this year is to finish this top row by the end of the year. And since it's only March, I'm hoping that I can make that goal without having to really push too terribly hard, just to do my normal stitching on it for my, prompts. And so I'm going to get back so you can see the whole thing. That gives you kind of the size of it. This is 32 count platinum. I did go back and research that. People have been asking me, and I couldn't remember because I got it at a retreat and it didn't have a tag on my fabric. But I went back and looked at my card that I wrote on it as soon as I started it, when I still remembered what it was. And it's 32 count platinum. So here you go. This is really pretty, but it is a unique piece for me because due to the real strong variegation in this piece, you cannot see the detail unless you get really close. Isn't that interesting? It's not one you really want to look at from far off because you can't see that light blue. So there you have it. Pandemic. Page finish. Yes. Check. Finished my, all of my acrostics are now done. And so I have one prompt left in the International Women's Day Challenge, which is to stitch on a whip that you didn't start out loving, but you've grown to love. And for me, that's my Autumn Bell Pull. I didn't love stitching on it because it has so much stitching in what appears to be a very simple piece. It's not. It's a Stony Creek. I should have known better. But I have grown to love it. I think the colors in it are just beautiful. And so I hope to pull that out this afternoon if I can. I have to get at least 200 stitches in it. And so since it is on my year of whip list, and since I would really like to finish it this year, that's not a bad thing that I have to pull it out and work on it. So that'll be okay. That's the stitching so far this morning. I'm hoping that I get to stitch some more this afternoon and I can come back and share that with you. But in the meantime, happy stitching, everybody.